Hello and welcome back to my weekly video. Again, my name is Maxine Whitfield. I am a psychic emotional healer and a Reiki master practitioner. If you would like to have a private Reiki session or a private psychic emotional healing session, you can contact me on my Reiki site, which is listed below this video. Today, my topic is a secret you all need to know and understand. And it's how spirit manifests your desires. Now, think about it. Most everybody lives in fear. And you can't beat yourself up over that because there's a reason for it. If you think about it, if you talk to your friends, if you turn on the TV, if you watch a movie, if you watch a soap opera, if you watch the news, if you watch commercials, every single thing is based on negativity. And negativity draws fearful energy to you. Now remember, we are not human. We are only spirit, having a human experience. You all volunteered to come to this planet at this time because we are going through a major ascension. And so you need to pat yourself on the back first off, because the only spirits that are here are very powerful warrior type spirits. So you volunteered to come here because you knew that you could have whatever you want. The problem is, with all the propaganda and all the lies that are constantly on the net, you have forgotten who you are. And so I'm here to remind you that we all have our own powers and we all have gifts and we all have guidance. The key about this video is to release your control. It's your control that gets you into problems. It's you trying to control your life, which creates your disharmony, your fears, and your lack. Now, this is very deep. And I'm going to have to break this down because it's not easy for me to actually explain this to you. So I'm going to do it very, very simply. And what's important for you is to be open to receive. So first, I want you to center yourself if you're nervous or upset or stressed by breathing. So you can always center yourself by taking deep breaths in your nose and blowing out your mouth. And just breathe it in and hold it. And then blow it out. And do that 3 times. So this information that I give you makes sense. Now, we have been put in situations where we feel like we have to control everything that goes on in our life. And, excuse me, my phone, I don't know where it is, but it's beeping at me. Anyway, so because you can have whatever you want, you ask to receive. So you ask what you need, and you can just have a thought. Having a thought is powerful. That's why you have to watch your thoughts and your words. Like on some of my other videos, I explained to you how your thoughts and your words create everything that you want and also create the things that you don't want. So when you have negative thoughts, you create the negativity. If whatever you believe is what you create, that is the truth, 100% truth. So you have to watch your thoughts. So let's say you understand that process, and so now you want some things. Now, there are things that you need to know. So this is how it works for me, and this is how I've come up with this truth. is I always think about things that I need, or things that upset me, or things that I need to work on. And so we all talk to ourselves. And so these are the things that I say to myself. And then the answer comes, the situation works itself out, because we are all in tune to spirit, whether we know it or not. And we are all influenced by spirit, whether we know it or not. The difference between you and me is that I analyze everything to death to get the information that I need. And because of that, sometimes it's not good that I do that, but in most cases, it helps all of you see the world in a different eye. Because once you become aware of things, that's when your life starts to change. So, you want to know something, you want to get a job, whatever it is, then if you're supposed to get the information, other people will give it to you, even though they're not supposed to, if that makes sense. So let me give you an example. There was a time that I was married. My ex-husband was not always honest with me. Actually, a lot. And, okay, so let's just go. What happened was this. He was in the military. He got sent, in the beginning, I think it was about 2003, to Iraq, whatever. He gave me a call because before they would go there, they would have to be trained in another place with a whole group of people in the Army. So he was in Texas. He calls me up and he tells me that he wants me to pay his credit card bill. Now, we don't have the same credit card. It was not a joint account. So as well as I know, that you can't call on other people's accounts and get information. But if you're supposed to get that information, then the person that you call will give it to you. Because the person who answers the phone was the person that was supposed to answer the phone. And they become guided by their higher self. So it's your higher self connects with the other person's higher self, and then you get all the information that you need. So this is what happened. I call, and I'm, first of all, beginning to wonder what the hell he has to pay this $345 bill. Now he tells me, oh, well, you know how I'm very forgetful, and I didn't pay my last month's payment, so they made it bigger. It still was way too much money for them to make it bigger. So I called his credit card company because I wanted to make a payment on his credit card. Now, in the past, when I wanted to make a payment, they wouldn't even let me do it because I'm not on his credit card. But in any case, so I explained to this girl what the situation was, blah, 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 how it's going to be gone, and I just could not understand. And she says, well, hey, let me check out his account and let me see what's going on. Well, lo and behold, she told me that that was his monthly payment. And his credit card balance was in the major thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, which shocked the hell out of me. And at the time, I was kind of thinking about getting a divorce because of other situations, and this just put the icing on the cake. But the point is that I needed to know this information, and they gave it to me. Do you see what I'm saying? This is how spirit manifests your desires. Things that you need to know. Now, there was a time that I was looking for work, and spirit did not want me to go to work because they wanted me to do this. They wanted me to write. They wanted me to speak. They wanted me to write poetry. At the time, I didn't know. I didn't come to this world saying to myself, well, when I grow up, I'm going to be a writer, a speaker. Yeah, sure. I hated school, whatever. So I would apply for these jobs and I couldn't get them. And of course, when you don't have a job, you become fearful. Um, do you know what I mean? And all of this negative energy gets put into that. And then you stress over it and you worry about it. And what you do is you create resistance. When all you have to do is tell yourself, because when you talk to yourself, you're talking to the world, you're talking to your higher self, you're talking to your angels, you're talking to your guides. That's who's listening to you. And they bring you what you want if you're supposed to have it. And they bring it to you on the timeline that you're supposed to have it. So really, you just have this conversation and then you just let it go. You got to let it go. You've got to trust. So I've done this enough that I trust everything. I don't do anything without asking anyway first. And then I have random conversations of things that I want to have, and then they appear. And sometimes it takes a year or 2 years later, but that's when it shows up, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So anyway, when you need something, you just put it out exactly how you want it. And that's how it shows up. And other people will be influenced to do things for you through their higher self. Because we're multidimensional. We're not single. I'm not the only person right here. Because there's parts of me doing other things. There's parts of me other places. Now, at this point in time, I'm not aware of it. But there will be a point in time that we will all be aware of it. So in the meantime, just be aware that what you need is given to you one way or the other. And making phone calls. That person will give you the information that you need. It's that simple. Now, there was another situation with my job where I was supposed to, know how I was supposed to write and everything, and I didn't know. So I was out looking at jobs, and I mean, every job was a no, a no, a no, a no, no matter how much I qualified for it. And so I would say, like, well, what is it that you want me to do? I don't know. Just tell me what you want me to do. And I couldn't pick up anything. So I continued looking for jobs. And I would say, look, I don't have any income. So don't send me off on these interviews and I have to spend gas money or whatever. Do you know what I'm saying? And they would play with me. No one say anything. I would go to these job interviews. And the last one I went to, I drove up, I got to the parking lot, and bam, before I opened the door, the voice said, you're not going to get this job. I'm like, wow, so you sent me out here for nothing. So anyway, I go in for the interview. I mean, and I didn't get the job. I'm qualified for all these jobs that I applied for. And the girl, I swear to God, she comes back and she says, well, you didn't get this job because the manager didn't like your shoes. It's a joke. I mean, they come up with all these weird, crazy stuff because they don't really have a reason. The reason is they're guided not to give me the job. Because that's not where I'm supposed to be. That's not what I'm supposed to be doing. And you see, so they tell me it's your shoes. I even had a phone call from an employment agency that said, how dare you waste my time? Nobody in the city will ever hire you. I mean, most people would freak out over it. Other people would sue. I'm going to sue that man. Are you following me? Me, I just go, it's a joke. So, my spirit guides, my higher self, whoever you want to call it, told me that I would get a job at the school district. Now, trust me, the school district wasn't hiring anyone at all. It was all over the internet. So I thought, okay, but I put that aside because I had found out later on by talking to another person who told me that I'm a very passionate person about what I believe and that I should write. And long story short, okay, so I started writing. Once I started writing and getting my blog together, that's when I was told I could go get a job at the school district. Now, mind you, if you went on the internet was at the school district said in big, huge, bold letters, "We are not hiring." But my God said I was going to get this job. So this is what I did. In the meantime, a couple of days later, I got a phone call back from this employment agency, which was a temporary agency. And they didn't tell me nobody in the city would hire me. That was a full-time agency. So the temporary agency called me up and said, "Hey, we have another job you can go interview for." Now, mind you, I just interviewed for a job, and it took a month for them to tell me that I didn't get it. It was a temporary position. And the reason was the interviewer didn't like what I said when I said, they said, "Tell me about yourself." Well, the job was customer service, dealing with taxes, and people are irate. And all I told her was how that was my specialty, how I could calm people down. She didn't like that. Now, come on. You know that's not the truth. The truth was I wasn't supposed to work there. That's it. So signs, these are signs for you, not negative things. Signs from your spirit guides, letting you know that's not where you need to be. That's not where you're supposed to be. And that's it. So spirit manifests your answers in signs through other people, messages on the radio, on billboards, on the internet, from conversations. That's how it works. Just like that. So be open to receive it. And how are you open to receive it? By following your intuition. So this is what I did. When I was told about this position, this was after, I decided I'm just going to go back to the school district. But of course, these positions paid me more. So first I said, okay, put me down for an interview, because it was 3 weeks away. So I figured I had time. So then I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I thought about it, and I said, look, this is what I'm supposed to do, is go to the school district. I don't care now what the internet says, even what the school district says. I'm just going to go do it. So what I did was back up. I said, God, I'm going to show you how I trust you. And I pushed my computer in front of me, and I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to call the temporary agency. I'm going to tell them I got hired at the school district, even though I didn't. And I'm going to trust that what you told me was true. And that's what I did. And do you know that I did get hired at the school district? Okay, fine, I'll tell you the story. At the school district, you can work for them as a temporary employee, or not a permanent employee, where you don't get benefits, but you've got to answer, jobs every day, different schools, different whatever. So, I had already worked at the school district for 8 years and lost my job, and we won't get into that one, but that was supposed to happen too. So what happened is that it was on the internet. You could also check to see what jobs were available. So I answered a few jobs here and a few jobs there. I went to the district to apply. That's how I started getting back in. And so lo and behold, this position came up for 4 days at this high school. But wouldn't you know, I had a doctor appointment in one of those days. And in one of those days, it took me 3 months to get that appointment, and I couldn't cancel it. So I called the school that had the position open for 4 days, and I said, hi, I saw your position. I'd really like to take it, but one of those days I have to go to the doctor and I can't work. And They didn't say, okay, well, never mind. They said, we'll hold it for you. Apply for it. Come on. I was supposed to go there. That's how it works. So I go there for this 4-day position, which I only worked 3 days. But that 4-day position turned into 3 months. And after 3 months, I got offered a job there. Now, the only reason they could even offer me a job was because this particular school had deaf and hard of hearing children. And I was on the sign language list. Do I sign? No. I took a 6 months course on sign language, but it's another language. And if you don't do it every day, you don't remember it. So I told them, I don't know how to sign. Now, they called the district and said, well, we have this girl, we'd really like to hire her, but she doesn't know how to sign. And the district said, hire her. Because she was told to hire me. Her higher self was told that. It's not a miracle. It's not any of that stuff. That's just how it works. That's how it's always worked. So it gets better. They hired me. I didn't do sign language. Everybody at the school hated me because of it. I took that position away from the deaf and hard of hearing department. Like, I didn't do anything. They hired me. Other people were jealous. I mean, this is the story of my life, whatever. So 2 years later, well, in the meantime, while I was at the school, it's a high school, and I was a special ed assistant. And I loved the job, but high schoolers are too embarrassed, and they don't want you to help them. And so the whole time I was at that job, I kept telling myself, I want to go work in an elementary school. If it was up to me, I'd love to go to an elementary school. So anyway, 2 years later, I get a phone call from the district, and it's summertime, so school's not in session. And they said, oh, Maxine, we just don't know how this happened, but everyone who takes this position has to take a sign language test. Gee, I wonder how this didn't happen. How come you just missed me for 2 years? Well, of course I know, and hopefully by now you know why. So this lady is yelling and screaming at me like it's my fault. I said, they hired me. No, that would never happen. The school district would never do that. Okay, fine, whatever, they did. And as she's yelling and screaming at me, I'm saying, but you don't know the power of God. You don't know the way the universe works. Because nobody on this planet has any power, not even you. So if it's meant to be, it'll be. Remember this, people. Trust this, please, for your own good. So then after she says, well, there's no way you can go back to that place. So we're going to have to find you a job. Now I'm already hired, so they can't fire me. They can't. So now they got to find me a job. Of course, they find me one 2 weeks later, and they tell me, well, we searched high and low, and this position came open unexpectedly. It's the story of my life. Everything is unexpected, and actually it's because it's meant to be. It's magical. Okay? It's called trusting, releasing control. So they said, well, actually, just last week, this man called up and decided he didn't want his job anymore. So it automatically just became available, and it's at an elementary school. Ha ha. Of course it's in an elementary school, because that's where I wanted to go. Now, Spirit plays with me with my giving me messages using my favorite number, my lucky number, whatever number you want to call it, which is number 13. So I went down to the school, introduced myself, told them, I'm going to be starting here, in 2 weeks. They walked me over to the classroom that I would be at, because I had worked in what we call resource, which is not a school classroom, but it's where I would bring kids in and teach them how to read, whatever. And of course, the number of the building or the room, it wasn't a building, the room was number 13. It's divinely directed. Your life is always divinely directed, but if you don't pay attention, you're not going to get the things that you want. I mean, this happens with getting an apartment. You have a place that they can get for you. Put it out what you want. Tell your guides everything that you want. And then when it becomes available, they bring it to you. Now, I want to back up here about how spirit manifests your desires through other people's thoughts, like getting this information from a credit card company, having people telling me that I can't get the job because they don't like my shoes. It's all the same thing. It's all the same. Think back about situations in your life and try to make that connection, or start noticing it in your life so you can make the connection. The point is, don't stress. Just trust. Tell your guide you will follow everything, because you might want a kitten. You might, decide that you want a specific cat or whatever, and you don't know where to get it. And, it's unfortunate, but a lot of these shelters charge hundreds of dollars, and so people want animals, but they can't even afford to buy one or pay for one. It's a sad thing. So I wanted a kitten, but so what happens is it just appeared, but it's not my story. This is somebody else's story that's even better than my story. So let's just say you want a kitten, or let's just say you want something, and so you let it go and you forget about it. And then you could be driving down the road, you could be eating breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You could just be doing anything, and then a thought comes to your head. But let's just put you in your car. You're in your car and you're driving home, and then all of a sudden this thought comes into your head, and it's go to 7-Eleven. And it's like, why? But don't question why, because you have to do it. You have to go, because there's a reason that place came into your mind. It's a random thought. So you follow your thoughts, which is the smartest thing to do. You go to 7-Eleven, you have no idea why you're even there, but it doesn't matter, because you will find out. You walk in and there's a lady with a child, and the child drops her doll. And so you pick up her doll and you give it to her. And then you start having this conversation with her mom, and you talk about this or that, whatever. And then all of a sudden, somehow it comes in the conversation that she has a kitten she's trying to get rid of. And she's got that kitten that you're looking for. And bam, there you go. You got your kitten from some random woman at 7-Eleven. That's how it works. That's why your intuition is your first thought. Your ego is what keeps you from everything. Oh, there's no reason why I need to go to 7-Eleven. I'm just not going to go. That's your free choice. Should you listen and follow your free choice? I say no. I say no. Especially only if something other comes into your mind, another thought happens for you. Follow it. That's how it works, people. So if you need to know something by somebody on the phone, you'll get your information. If it's a court case, it'll work itself out. Any information that you want, you just put it out in your head, conversation. I mean, it's not that I wanted, eventually I wanted to get a car. I keep my car for 15 years. And I was, driving to Portland, going to go to Portland, which is about 1,200 miles away, and my car had 100,000 miles on it. So I asked, should I buy a new car? And the answer was no. Okay. So I drive my car 1,100 miles. Don't worry about it. 3 weeks later, my water heater breaks. I don't pull over like I'm supposed to, and I burn out the whole car, not the engine, thank God, but $2,500 worth of damage. I said to Spirit, now's the time I should get a new car. No. I said no. Okay. So I put out the $2,500 and I fixed my car. 2 years later, I drive it back. I have one problem with it, another problem with it, whatever. And then I had another issue with it. Now, I woke up one morning and I'd heard this noise in my car, but I knew there was something wrong with it, but I didn't know what. And I kept asking, should I take it to the shop? Should I take it to the shop? And the answer was no, 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 no. So I didn't. And then one morning I woke up and it was, take your car to the shop today. So check this out. They know I hate to sit and wait. We all hate to sit and wait for hours and hours while they fix your car. So I figured, well, there is something wrong with my car then. They want me to take it in. But today is the day that no one's going to be busy. It must be the reason why today's the day. Well, long story short, I took my car to a friend who told me about this new place. The new place took my car right away. They weren't busy. They looked at it. They said, oh my God, it's a good thing you brought your car in today because your pump was hanging by a thread, and if it fell, it'd have blown up your engine. You have no car. So you see, it went in the right day. Now, these people lived 25 miles from my house and said I couldn't take my car home. And they drove me home. And then they picked me up the next day when my car was ready. And so then the point is, a month later, I wake up one morning and it's like, buy your new car today. I'm like, no. I just put out another $500 on my car. I don't need a car. It's working fine. No. And they're like, no, buy your car today. Today's the day. So what came into my head? Mazda. Now, all the time that I owned my vehicle, I used to sit in my car and say all the things I didn't like about it. I don't like that I can't tell when I can change lanes. I can't see at night. I can't do this. I have a hard time with this. I have a hard time with that. And guess what? They made this car for me. And the day that I got the car was everything that I said I needed in a car I didn't even know existed in this new car. Now, I wanted a car. They want me to get the SUV. I did not want the SUV. And because I tapped into energy, I used my hand to feel energy. So I put my hand over the SUV and I practically fainted from this is the car, this is the car, this is the car. Put my hand over the other car and it was like, no. And I'm standing in the car lot arguing with my guides. Why do you want me to buy the SUV? Why? But I bought it. I didn't go home that day so happy that I got this new car. It took me 3 months to figure out that this car told me that when I can change lanes. This car told me when somebody was in my blind spot. I mean, these are the things that I couldn't do. Plus, it drove like a sports car, which I wanted, and it got better gas mileage. It's the perfect car. I can't tell you how many times I would cringe in my car and go, I don't know if I can change. I don't know. I don't know because I have depth perception issues. So if there's a sign that says turn on this lane, I can't tell what lane they're talking about. So this is why this was important to me. And 2 years later, they came out with the car with all these features that I needed. So do you see how everything works? So, I don't want to keep going on because I want to keep your attention. But the thing is that other people are influenced. So don't listen to other people, like your friends, telling you what you can and cannot do, where you should live or where you shouldn't live. You put out, should I move? And if I should move, this is what I want and this is what I need. And then you'll get the information. It'll come to you. I mean, when I was moving, I had a stacks this high of paper that needed to be shredded. But I also had to pack. And I also had to put my house up for sale. And I also had to leave because of termites and stuff. I mean, it was like, and I had to find a job. It's like, what do I do first? So I would come home from work and I would shred a few papers. And I'm like, oh, this is going to take me forever. And so I, like music, I turned on the radio. And no lie, an ad comes on the radio. Are you looking for a shredder? Do you need someone to shred your papers? I'm like, oh my God. It said, call the Goodwill. The Goodwill has shredding services that are very, very cheap. So I called. Do you know I brought in a 35-gallon garbage bag full of paper, and it cost me $6 to shred it. See? So I said what I needed, and bam, there it was on the radio. I want you to see that you can have what you want, what you ask for. You trust, you follow, and you only do what you're told that way. Forget your free will. And don't worry about court cases, lawyers, judges, insurance companies, work, employment, apartments. You are given this information. It's not like your friend who's going to call you up on the phone and make it that easy for you. No, you need to trust. You love yourself. You trust what you receive. You follow your intuition and your guidance. You don't have to do anything else. Release control. Because your control offers up resistance. Because what do? You stress over it. You worry about it. You put all of that negative energy out into the universe, and you operate the law of resistance, which is a universal law. The more energy you put into it, the more you're not going to get it. So if you're tired of stressing over it, trust what you get. Be open to receive and follow your guidance. And the more you follow it, the more you get. I mean, I can put out that I want new clothes. In fact, I went to the store and bought all the new clothes, they said. But there was one thing that I wanted that wasn't there. So I said, okay, fine, I guess it's not available. 3 days later, it's like, go back to that store. What you're looking for is there. And I'm like, oh my God, I just bought 7 tops. Okay, I'll just go. I don't know which one it is. I don't know. And lo and behold, bam, it shows up on this rack, and it's the only one there. There isn't even 2 of them alike. So your life is easy, it's simple, it's magical. You need to release control, follow and trust your guidance. Put out in your head, in your mind, everything that you want. And then let it go. And watch the miracles come. And don't question it. Just do it. Follow it. Signs are out there all the time for you. All the time. Anything you need, you can have it. You just have to wait. Because it'll unfold in divine timing. So that's my message for you this week. And again, you can always leave me comments. I would love it if you liked my videos, if you like it. If you please share my videos to anyone you think need them. It's only for you That's what I'm here for, to help you have a magical life, and your friends who I don't know. And tune in next week for some more information and guidance that I want to share with you. Love and blessings. Bye.